What would you do if your very first property deal went so wrong it cost you £60,000 and set you back for years? That's exactly what happened to Eddie, a pharmacist who described himself as an accidental landlord. After relying on YouTube advice and making costly mistakes, he knew he needed proper guidance. Now, fast forward just a few months, Eddie started working with me and my team, discovered how to raise finance, and went from losing money to raising over £820,000 from private investors for his deals. In this interview with Flo, head of property coaching, Eddie shares how he turned it all around and how he's now building financial freedom with confidence. So let's dive in.
Hello, Eddie. Really good to see you. Thank you for joining me today. So, Eddie, tell me, how long have you been with us in the inner circle?
I joined the inner circle, think right about October 2024.
Oh,
And
right. So, less than a year.
yes.
Okay, all right, excellent. So, tell me, before you joined the Portfolio Builder program, which is our signature program within the inner circle, where were you at in your property journey, or what was happening in your life?
At that point, yeah, I would like to say I would call myself an accidental landlord, let's put it that way, because everything I did prior wasn't planned. Particularly I got my first project, I lost a lot of money. Um,
Oh.
Thinking I could do things by, YouTube, checking everything online and all that. Yeah.
Mm.
But eventually, it was a very, very terrible mistake. I mean, everything I did was just the opposite of how not to invest in properties. So that set me back, I think 5, 6 years due to what
Wow.
I'd done. Yeah. And
Okay. Would you mind telling us how much money did you lose
about 60,000, if not more.
wow.
It was a very difficult period in my life, yeah, because I had that enthusiasm to get into property, to do things right. I was really excited on that first project, thinking I was doing the right thing. I mean, it was a 3 bedroom. I converted to a five, um, without the required what do you call it, building regs and all that.
Mm.
I sort of just handed it over to somebody who told me, "Oh, I'm going to do this for you. I'll make this work for you." And eventually, when I wanted to move on to the next one, this is what happened. So it held me back, yeah. So, but um, it was a turning point for me at that point, and I realized everything I had to do going forward, I had to seek proper knowledge,
Mm.
and I sort of struggled my way, got a loan to fix the mess, and then worked hard, saved a bit of money, and then got the second property on buy to let. Again, without any prior knowledge. Yeah, buy to let, 25% down. And so this was my story down there. So before I joined the inner circle, I wanted um it was more like a midlife crisis for me at that point in life because I wanted a change. I was hungry to do things differently. I had seen a lot of people who've been into properties, what they've done. And when you go online, you see, I mean, I'm not the type that usually go online. The highest I do is I've just recently activated my Instagram and Facebook, which is very strange for somebody who is over 40 not having a Facebook account. Yeah. So I mean the key objective here was joining the inner circle basically was just for me to, number one, access knowledge from people who are seasoned property investors, learn more from the industry and updates on how to do things and avoid all those sort of beginner mistakes by leveraging on other people's experience. So in the journey around it, I attended quite a lot of courses. Um, you can just name them. Um, I did a lot of research on it. I was restless until I stumbled into the inner circle. Um, and that sort of resonated with me. Even as of that, yeah, I wasn't quite sure if I was doing the right thing, but somehow I sort of just said, let me give it a go. And yeah, that's how I found myself here.
Wow, you certainly came to the right place. So, during your 12 weeks of the Portfolio Builder program, where you actually got one-on-one coaching with your own designated coach, how did you actually find the support and the knowledge that you were given and the work that you actually did with your coach? What did that enable you to achieve?
It made a big difference to me because at that time, everything I saw online didn't actually um the selling point here was I had that 12-week one-to-one, someone that could pick me up and just hold my hands all through this 12 weeks. And the important thing was I think it made a big difference if 12 weeks is a long time for you to build a very good relationship with someone. And I was blessed to have coach who sort of held my hands all through the period. Um, so it made a big difference in terms of, how I wanted to approach my journey. And most especially for me at that point in time, I knew what I wanted to do, but I just wanted to build that confidence. I wanted somebody to just guide me and, show me the ropes and just say, this is how you need to approach things like this. So that made a very big difference.
Amazing, amazing. So throughout your time, since you've been with us within the inner circle and you completed your portfolio builder program, what has been, what would you say is your biggest achievement?
My biggest achievement has been, I mean, 3 weeks into my journey, I had this conversation with my coach, and I'm like, I think the major thing for me here is not about, apart from understanding the techniques, the strategies needed to, invest and all that. The most important thing was finance
Mm,
for me. I realized that a lot of people around me and a lot of people I speak to, um, were struggling to actually access finance or didn't know how to raise finance. And again, my own example was, I had to rely on, work hard, save a bit of money, and then use that money to invest. I didn't know that there was ways you could do it. You could actually, leverage on the knowledge you've got and then use that to raise finance
mm,
properly. So again, it comes back to understanding the product knowledge of what we were doing here, because you need to, I started my career in sales, and the first thing my national sales manager will always tell me at that point would be, um, yeah. I don't know if I should say this here, but it's if you the first thing you need to do when you're selling a product is for you to have the product knowledge.
mm,
So whatever it takes here, you need to put in the hours, understand what you're selling. And once you understand what you're selling, because when you go out there and talk to people, they will ask you questions and you must be able to answer those questions effectively. So if you can deal with all the rejections and the questions people ask you, it makes you even better. People can understand, people can believe you, people can invest in you. So I got all that from the inner circle, which obviously I learned all the strategies here, which was like having a lot of knowledge, a lot of the things I never knew I could do. And now I then was like, okay, the next step would be for me to enhance that. How can I put this so that I can speak to people who've got the money but don't have what I have or what
mm.
I've learned over a period of time and see how we can then make it work. And that was how I think 3 weeks into it, I had this conversation with my coach at that time. And yeah, he then shared some tips on how to structure raising finance in that regard.
And how much did you manage to raise?
Um, in about in since October till date,
Mm.
I have raised up to, well, as I speak to you today, I've got more than what I actually had raised as of last month. I had raised 650,000. in joint venture funding. This is from five private investors, each averaging about 130,000 each. In the last couple of days, they have managed to raise another 170 on a different project I'm actually working. So it's been great because I've sort of used the same template on, and it's worked in different ways to raise this finance.
That is incredible. So you literally went from losing 60,000 to, within a short space of time, raising 650,000, and now another 150, I think you said. That's like 800,000. That is absolutely incredible, and I congratulate you. Really, that is a huge achievement. Very well done. So to anybody now sitting on the fence wondering, is this the right pathway for me? Is this the right company? And I'm nervous about it. Or maybe people who might have had a bad experience in the past, what would you say to them? What's your advice?
I think number one, we have to look at it in different, like I shared my story, we have to define what we want. I mean, I always tell people success is not about just being cerebral, it's about expansive thinking. This could obviously lead to your prosperity and achievement in life, but the most important thing here is that you've got to believe in yourself and know exactly what you want. In my journey, like I said, I knew what I wanted. I just needed to be in the right circle. And immediately I found my space. I realized this is the right place to be. And because normally, if you believe in yourself and you believe you can do it, all you needed to do was just believe is essential in overcoming all sorts of challenges. And I mean, I always want to quote the scriptures because I'm Christian, but the most famous one here is when they say faith move mountains. Yeah, if you believe that you can do it, and because that signifies confidence and leads to actions and successes. So for any newbie coming into or thinking or sitting over the fence, my first advice would be number one, believe in yourself, build your confidence. You need to also align with the right people. And coming here was the right step I've made because everything I've learned today, I wouldn't have done it without this inner circle because I'm able to build my confidence. I'm able to do things I'd never even thought of doing. I am so busy right now that I never ever imagined I'll be in this position 12 months ago. So I hope everybody listening or any of the newbies would take this on board and of course take the next step in achieving your next phase of life.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much. And again, huge congratulations to you. And really, this is just the beginning. I'm sure that there's going to be much, much more to come. And I look forward to seeing that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.